provide the continuity. Yeah, to provide the continuity in the collaborative research and participation of the young founders and the startups in this sector, we are launching this program. ICR IRI has also significantly contributed to the welfare of the farmers by providing technologies which have been adding to the millions in the farmer welfare and also in the agriculture sector of the country. So with this initiative, we aim to further empower the sector with the new practices and create a significant impact on the household income of the people in agriculture sector. So in line with the intent of IRI, the startups that have been selected for SHITIJ 2023, we are welcoming you all today to the inaugural session. And we will be supporting with the Pusa Krishi incubation ecosystem with various kind of supports and offerings that we offer here. So it'll be a program outline, it'll be like a 1 year long incubation program. So any startup that requires any kind of help or support to enable them to become a successful entrepreneur, we will be helping them. So it includes technical validation, mentoring, business validation. Sorry, someone is not, okay, fine. Right. So I'll get back to what I was saying. So these offerings, I mean, anything that any idea that a business would require, but a startup would require, we'll be helping with that. So if somebody has developed an MVP and transforms into a product, if somebody has an idea and wants to transform into an MVP, and if somebody is already in a commercial sector and wants to diversify and also explore, expanding markets, so Pusa Krishi is there for them. So today we'll start the phase 1 of the program, which will be a 2-week extensive incubation workshop. It will be a virtual roundup for the monthly business and technical mentoring program. And we'll be continuing with the same in the coming months as well, where you will get extensive training and mentoring with experts from various domains pan-India. So the aim of this kind of engagement is to build capacity, also expand the technical and business understanding, and also trying to understand where do you guys stand right now? So what kind of support do you really require? Right. So after the workshop, you will be, this program will be going live for like 4 days every month for the next 4 months for like intensive training. And during that period, we will also try to understand what kind of investment are you looking for? What kind of growth are you looking for? What kind of support are you looking for? So we'll be working one-to-one with you so that we can also understand what kind of one-to-one mentoring that you would require. So each startup will have a deeper engagement and it'll be a focused, tailored approach because it'll be as customized as the needs will be arising. So today, for the inauguration, we have our chief guest with us. So I'll introduce about our chief guest of the session today. So Dr. Prabhu, who's born in Hubli, Karnataka on 20th May 1958, is educated at the Gandhinagar High School, Bangalore 1970-72, and also High School, Mysore in 1973. Then he was a student at the Sarda Vilas College, Mysore 1973-75. Then at BHU, 1975 to...
Manisha, you can skip all of that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
There's no need. Yeah.
All right, sir. So I'll just tell them, sir has been the chairperson of the PPVFRA Government of India, Minister of Agriculture, from 2018. Dr. Prabhu is a senior scientist at the during the regional station Shimla from 1986 to 91, and then 91 to 98, senior scientist 1998, officer in charge National Phytotron Facility, head of the Division of Genetics from 2006 to 13, and then joint director IRI from New Delhi from 2013 to 2018. He has been awarded nationally and internationally a lot of awards that the people right now, we all in the agri community are aiming to, at least get one of those. So, sir has been awarded and felicitated with the ICR Jawaharlal Nehru Award 1987 IRI.
Leave them all. Forget
okay, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, sir's research areas have been plant breeding, genetics, molecular marker assisted selection, and also incubation ecosystem now. He has been an expert with us from the day we started the Pusa Krishi. So, sir, it's an honor that you are a part of the program, and we are starting the whole cohort with you. So, sir, over to you. Thank you for being a part of this program, sir.
Welcome. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to allow me to start the screen sharing. You're disabled.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. The screen is visible?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. All right. Not coming on the full mode. It's come on. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. Thank you. Friends, without taking too much of time about explaining how good I feel when I deal with youngsters and even people who are interested in agriculture as vocation or something in which they can participate as industry. It gives me a lot of pleasure because that is one sector which has been giving a side by to agriculture in India ever since industrialization happened. So that's some big revealing status now. But before I start, I would like to dedicate this session to Professor Swaminathan, who left us this month after 98 years of great service to the country. And I don't think there is anybody else who lived this earth and served the farmers as much as he did for that long number of years. And it is because of him that we are talking about Chandrayaan. We are talking about all that we are now doing in terms of global leadership of economics through Indian contribution. That's the reason I dedicate this, because minus that contribution, none of it could have happened. So therefore, we must not forget that these are the people who made India what India is today. So leaving that as one of the important parts that all of us should understand and have respect for, I would like to tell you that in the national agriculture sector, national sector, agriculture has been the largest contributor in anything that makes growth happen, whether directly or indirectly. Minus agriculture, no country other than those which are living only on software can say proceed to international competition and into the markets. So that's the reason agriculture cannot be given a side lane treatment. It has to be given frontline treatment all the time if that country has to survive. As we saw during the COVID crisis, India was the only country which managed without any kind of food crisis because it had agriculture under strong base. That's a simple example which cannot be duplicated by any other simile or example, which says how crucial is agriculture for any country. We have, of course, the second largest arable land, and we also have the largest number of agroclimatic regions. That means there is no one agriculture and one country in India. It is multiple agriculture systems and one country, India. And that's how we are able to manage all the climate change related variabilities, because we already have one or the other part of that variability in already an existing area in the country. And therefore, we are having an experience all the time in most of the agricultural changes that has been happening in the climate, and because of which agriculture had to be redone or re-modified or modeled to an extent. But that has been already happening as an example. So that we are able to therefore manage, especially people of my clan, the plant breeders, we are able to breed varieties in advance which can match the changing climate and therefore not get affected by reducing the yield. That's the very reason, despite all the floods you see, all the droughts you have been hearing about on the TV with so many debates on how to control it and how not to waste water, etc., we still are able to produce enough and export to the other countries. So that means we are able to match with the requirements, and it is all clearly seen by this data, where we have 11.4% of global food production in only 2.8% of the global land. So you can definitely understand that we are more than 300% better in our average productivity over the rest of the world. So that's something great which has enabled us to be what we are. Now, you must look at these strategies which are now required for upcoming national requirement at the international level. This is something unavoidable. FAO, for example, has put up strategic framework which will keep agriculture sustained. With agriculture sustained means food sufficiency sustained, then poverty reduction sustained, and nutritional availability sustained, and hunger overtaken, because that's the reason globe is not developing equally. Hunger existing in many, many countries. And industry is one sector which can convert the raw agriculture into finished products, which is what is missing in India. And that's where I request your attention to my presentation or orientation to that. You see, global agriculture food market is expected to have grown from about $9,600 crores to $1 billion in 2020 to 10,181 in 2021. Almost 1,000 billion added to that change. So this is evident. No, there is no other industry sector which can show that kind of growth. So obviously, it is tremendous growth that can happen. And we expect by 2025, when India is going to come to the $5 trillion business base, then we'll be having this 13,133 billion globally, and Indian share should be maximum there. Right now, we have about $900,000 billion share at the moment. So we have tremendous scope. That's where industry has to provide support. And this is given that the temperature ranges are, all of you, wherever you're sitting today, are now using, like I'm sitting in a residence, which about 30, 50 years ago, nobody thought even of having a fan. Then fan became a necessity. Today, I'm sitting with an air conditioner on in my home. Minus that, I cannot. So that's the reason we have to understand that climate change is there in terms of temperature increase, and temperature increase has to be dealt with appropriately, not only in basic agriculture, but in the finished product that come out of it, and how best to conserve them and how best to use them by modifying or by having processing done in order to see that they are value added, and more industry is supported to develop processing systems and have people have it without having to spend on temperature control to prolong their storage on the shelf or things like this. So that's where the scope is. You have to bifurcate yourselves according to your expertise, your technical expertise, non-agricultural expertise, I mean, and convert the agricultural raw produce into, with the expertise you have, into that which has value addition. Okay. So these are things which are very, very important for global agriculture and global understanding. FAO has further gone on a high-level expert forum decision to understand that this is going to be a challenge. The agriculture toward 2050 will not only be, say, troubled by the climate change, but also by increasing population. But more importantly, the economics of agriculture has to be converted into an industry base, so that the growth of industry, growth of agriculture both follow a trend being dependent on one another on equal status. While industry is dependent on agriculture, the growth value or the economics of the dependence versus the utility are not equal at the moment. So that has to be brought on equal footing. If you are dependent on the agriculture for your industry, then agriculture should be part of the industry growth. The effect on the industry, because of the economic trade value which the product has, should also be translated to the ground level. So this understanding has to be developed. That's what the expert forum has indicated, that processes and the procedures in policies of the government in managing agriculture as raw produce for industrial conversion has to be on equal footing. At the moment, it is not. So that has to happen. But looking at the demography, Indian demography, for example, which is what our interest is, as on today, 58% of the people depend directly on agriculture, and about 87% of this 58% are really small farmers. So they cannot live on their own in terms of farming unless they are supported by some other support system or secondary system by which they can part support themselves. Otherwise, if you look at the last two lines, it's very clear. The difference between annual income on sole agriculture base versus per capita average income, which also includes farmers, is hardly any different. It is 142,000 per the 1,42,000 per year from agriculture and 1,44,000 per year from other sectors of business. So that means it is not totally something that is not remunerative. Only thing is it is bereft with several problems. And our 2.7 trillion is the economic status today, where agriculture has been the basic input provider for this $2.7 trillion. Out of the 2.7, 1.67 are basically come from agriculture sector, either directly or indirectly. So that means it has a very prominent role to play even in this 3 trillion economics. So if it comes to the 5 trillion economics, which our Honorable Prime Minister is aiming for in another 5 years or 10 years, it will be again 3.5 to 4 trillion coming from agriculture if we had to reach $5 trillion. And that cannot happen without industry of non-agriculture base using agriculture as the basis or raw material converts itself into say industry participation or proportion. That has to be larger. That is not larger. Although the number is big, the proportion is small. Now you see the agriculture ranking. For your understanding, if you invest in textile industry, you have, as on today, maximum raw material that can directly come from agriculture. Second is food processing. That's what I meant. We have very, very low in that. Although industry ranking is high, but the processing amount, like for example, cotton, other than the exported cotton, 95% of the cotton produced is in the industry. Wool, same thing. Of course, the cottage industry takes the largest chunk in the wool. Jute, almost same thing as wool. Say things like this. The fiber crops are converted into agriculture, all the organized or cottage, both put together, but industry. But whereas food processing, hardly 4 to 6% of the food that is capable of to be processed is under processing. So that's where you have to think in which sector you can contribute. You, in the sense of investors, can contribute in converting raw produce of agriculture, especially horticultural produce, into processed product, so that their life is enhanced and their value is much enhanced, and the farmer, who is basic producer of that fruit, gets enough remuneration. So it is just not jam and jelly and juices. It has to be much, much more than that. Then the dairy, then the sugar, vegetable oil, tea, coffee. These are the ones which are industry rank processes in India. So we in the food processing, you have largest chunk in terms of vegetables to staple products such as even rice, wheat, etc., part of the raw material. So it is all encompassing food processing. While others are specific to trade, say inputs, food processing is open for all agri-produce, literally speaking, okay, which is edible. And you also see 61% of the credit, which is in business and agriculture, comes from institutional source, which is a very nice input to understand. It is institutionalized. That means the exploitation of high interest rate, etc., which happens in many industry markets, does not happen so much in agriculture. So that means that trend is already well set. It's for you to explore that and see how best you can introduce yourselves in that 61%, or increase that institutional mechanism to convert agriculture into a successful business entrepreneurship. That's where is the silver line or the gray area of choice is something that you have to debate on, but silver line is already there, that you have well-supported institutional mechanism in India for financing and capital development, capital raising. And that's obviously seen by the number of years in the last 4 or 5 years. If you see, the extent of market size has been hovering around 250 to 300 US billion dollars in India, which is really great because if you look at $270 billion, you don't see any major 5 industries put together coming anywhere closer to this, even in current status of the country. So that must be understood. The scope is definitely much more than each of you consider. Because of the unorganized or low-level industry-based or farm gate end industry-based or cottage industry-based or rural industry-based product, which are not well-quality base managed or well-quality controlled. Therefore, you don't count them in organized industry. But otherwise, you buy chips in packets today, it is also an industry. But you don't see any name, or you may hardly see any name, and the address is something that you may not even recognize if that there is a town like that in India. So that's a basis by which, while this data includes all that, our normal understanding of agriculture not being great value is not very clearly understood by even industry folks. So that's where you have to see. Only people involved in it, such as Haldirams and Bikanerwalas, who are very intelligent in converting their level into global industry today. So that's where it is. The scope is tremendous, unending, okay? Really unending, because as I said, only 4% of processed products are being processed. Processable products are being processed. So almost zero. You may say 96% is statistically not very different from zero. So that should be understood, and you have tremendous scope. Anything you do with processing is a gain, and there's never going to be a loss. So that's where. And you see the development in export is an eye-opener. Now with COVID-based, say, shattering of industry in agriculture that has happened globally, there is so much of scope for any industry to develop from India and be the base for export of that product globally. Only thing is you have to meet the global quality. That's the only thing you have to understand. If that is done, India can become a big resource for exporting food with the basic agriculture support system which you already have, an institution mechanism for capital raising which you already have. So looking at that, you see that the scope you have in managing the rice as an important commodity. Then comes marine products, which is a real fathomable, unfathomable level of business one can think of. Spices, buffalo meat, and sugar. These are the top 5 entities on which already there is sufficient investment. You need to do look at other things to bring in that significant contribution, which is more than 0.5%. Otherwise, they're all under less than 0.5%. So that should be seen in terms of $1 billion, and that should be seen as real scope. Okay, it should not be seen as something that does not happen. It should be seen as something that can be converted into a big opportunity for people who are interested in. And you can regionalize your product. You can regionalize your market. Produce only for a given market. That is also remunerative, highly remunerative. Only when you enlarge your market, you have to enlarge your basket to meet the requirement of that region. That's the difference between a mobile phone and an agricultural produce industry product. That has to meet the requirement of the local dialect, local say people. That's where the problem is between agriculture as an industry versus a motor car or say mobile phone or other systems. But nevertheless, what we can say is from agri sector export, today we are a global number 5. Okay, number 5 globally, which is something unbelievable. That is why SS Swaminathan cannot be ignored or forgotten. His contribution cannot be sidelined. He should have been given Bharat Ratna maybe about when economics was opened in 1993 or 92. He should have been awarded a Bharat Ratna because that became the base on which the economics has worked. Today, we are number 5 in export, while in 1950s, I will tell you if time is going to be available, in 1950, we were told as a country which is going to die its natural death because of its failure. And India as a country, United Nations was advised not to be investing aid money in. Africa is, but not India, because of population, because of her uncontrollable population and the social war that is going to happen, and economic principles will fail. So it was advised, India was advised not to. So yet we have been now exporting, and we are number 5 in export as on today. So that's a moment of pride, nothing less than pride, and nothing less than Chandrayaan success. But this goes as a silent revolution if one doesn't see a flying rocket or say marching, breaking the orbit, something that goes up in agriculture. And that's his bane. That's his biggest bane. And people like me never use the opportunities that come our way in telling people next door or telling people within the families also that what we have done that has enabled India to be what today it is. That's because agriculture is not taken as something that is high. Even among the students, people who take agriculture as a subject are not really looked upon as great compared to an engineering student or a medicine science student. So these are the things which are extremely important for us to realize. That happens with any growth, but that is not the case in developed countries. Unfortunately, in a developing country based on agriculture, when that is a social understanding, whereas in other countries which are so-called industrialized, agricultural support system as an industry is regarded very high there also as an industry. So this part has to be brought up by you. You are the ones who do it. Now that Krishi Pusa, I think like this are existing. Earlier, we also never thought of engaging non-agricultural folks to join us to enhance our or extend our arms or extend our.
Recording in progress.
Hello. Hello.
Ji sir, please
Okay,
continue, sir.
okay, all
Yes,
right.
yes.
All right. See, you can also see this particular graph, which is by FAO, that there has been a tremendous improvement in R&D in agriculture in developed world. Okay, you see this. While India happens to have 58% of its people in agriculture, Netherlands less than 2%, entire Europe less than 1.5%, in the US less than 2% is the population involved in agriculture. But the investment in R&D in agriculture is going so high in all these countries. What should be the reason? So I think whatever I told you so far is explained in this one particular line, that agriculture support system industry and R&D to meet that industry requirement, not only deal with the climate crisis or other say disease related problems, etc., pest related problems, etc., the industry requirement is met through R&D. Even in the pest and diseases, the pesticides and disease control chemicals, that is also industry based, and that is also linked with the research R&D to meet the requirement, which we have almost zero in India. The pesticide research, chemicals research, with not a single molecule developed by Indian system, Indian chemistry system, not a single molecule of synthetic nature today developed, other than neem and those naturally existing product base. There is not one molecule which India has produced. So the chemists among you have a lot of openings to develop such chemicals which will be of very high value, and that can be big money turner. Monsanto's and those companies became big only because of their molecules which they had their patent on. So that's the basis on which you turn, and that's how the R&D works. India, as I already have explained to you, with that food processing related basis, it is not only food processing, floriculture, flower processing, not really for edible purposes. Netherlands, for example, with less than 2% of the global area, global number of people in agriculture, they have the largest flower market. It's a fantastic opening to go and see, watch how tons and millions and millions of tons of fresh flowers each day, single stock is well organized in that more than million stocks. I see a single stock of single flower, how it goes and how globally it is marketed. Within 50 minutes is on the flight to the targeted country. So that's the kind of organized industry they have in flower. So it is unending, and they are number one in the world. Whereas we have the largest area in floriculture, but we have nowhere in trade, other than now some Bangalore and Pune companies exporting, that too where Netherlands is not able to meet the need. So these are the areas in which we have tremendous engagement to have and to go into, and that's where there is scope. Now, I want to tell you that all this has happened because of one important decision the then government took. I would like to rate it as the biggest impacting decision India has ever taken. It is not to go with war against Pakistan or anything else that happened in the 60s or with China in the against 60s or anything like this. It is this, that India has to execute a planned research system to make it produce or increase its yield significantly as a revolution. That's how the Green Revolution began, and the decision that enabled Green Revolution to happen only in India is the largest decision of value India has ever taken after it became independent. And these are the three people who made it happen. Dr. Swaminathan, I explained to you earlier, and the person who provided the material which Dr. Swaminathan wanted, and Mr. Subramaniam, who was the Minister of Agriculture, who enabled it to happen, while bureaucracy had stopped it. For some reason, as it happens usually, it is Dr. Swaminathan who met Mr. Subramanian and convinced him that if you don't invest in this, you will never know what India can do, and you will never be able to stop what the prophecy has been, that India will be a begging bowl. We have to, it's a country which has no future. That's what was the premonition. That what was the foreseeing, and that will happen if you don't do it. And Mr. Subramanian did it. He got the Bharat Ratna, but not yet Dr. Swaminathan. That's something. And that happened with the institution where you are organizing, where this meeting has been organized, the Indian Agricultural Research Institute. That's an example institution, I'm saying. Such institutions are the ones like Harvard's or Stanford's, etc., which give that revolution that happens with India. Indian Institute of Science has also done great, say, science part, but the contribution for country's development is unmatched with IRI. IRA's product that has gone to the nation's value is not matched by any IIT or any Indian Institutes of Science or any such institution. Aims in terms of saving public or health-related value addition is, of course, comparable possibly, but in terms of economic and social status growth and survival of the country, India, IRI-like institution has done the maximum, and such institutions had to be supported and increased, and this government has introduced 3 more IRI-like institutions to happen. So let us see how things develop. This is what I was telling. Famine 1975 was the book that was written by William and Paul Paddock in 1958, and they said by 1975, India will not survive, and the population bomb will erupt, and there is no scope to invest on India. That is what was given. And it is in IRI, Dr. Pal and Dr. Swaminathan were the ones who decided that we will stop this from happening, and this is what has to be done. That is how the Green Revolution happened. It is not, I want all of you to understand in one sentence that Dr. Swaminathan asked for this material knowing what he wants. It is not that somebody else developed it and gave it and made him try it. No, it is not so. It is something just as in an industry asks for some product or some chip, designs a chip and makes it happen in China and gets it in India. It doesn't become Chinese contribution, okay? Because you designed it and you asked for a particular specification to happen for you, and you are the one who is architect of it. That's the situation with Dr. Swaminathan when he got the Mexican wheats to India. They were not random wheats. They were wheats which he ordered for by knowing he could, because he didn't have the gene with him. Otherwise, he had already done the dwarf material in the name erectoid, which he had, but he could not make them fertilizer responsive. He didn't have the genes available because wheat is not Indian evolution. Wheat is from Mediterranean and that region. So therefore, he didn't have the variability. Today, maybe we could get easily, but then at those times were the times when nothing could come other than by ship. So it was not possible. So he requested for that come on a particular quality and particular quantity and particular type. It is not that something randomly came and we became a grain revolution country. It is not so. Okay. So the success, of course, was because of not just Swaminathan alone. The polity supported it, the bureaucracy subsequently supported it, then scientific community enhanced it, and farmers and seed producers and growers. So this symphony of these 4 playing one orchestra together enabled Green Revolution happen, which could not be replicated anywhere else till date in any other country till date. Although the same ship which brought the initial material to India, which was produced by Indian 4 scientists from IRI in Mexico. They went to Mexico, stayed a season in Mexico, used those lands, used those farmers, and produced those many tons, 18,000 tons of seed which they got in India. The remainder, 14,000 tons, were sent by Dr. Borlaug to Karachi in the same ship. Okay, in the same ship. It first unloaded in Karachi, then reached Bombay. Okay, so but Pakistan could not succeed because they didn't have people like Swaminathan or IRI-like institutions, Pantnagar-like institutions, which all played together, organized under the leadership of Dr. Swaminathan IRI, PAU, Ludhiana, then Pantnagar, Kanpur, and Delhi were the 4 institutions which enabled the Green Revolution to be successfully operated in India and to make it Green Revolution. That's it. So that's the thing. But now what are the challenges in agriculture where you had to contribute? See, we have been able to meet the global, meet the demand which India needs for meeting its hunger. Okay, so we have it. We have more than what we need. So therefore, you have more opportunity to convert the unneeded one into processed product, into exported product or exportable product, things like this. So there is tremendous scope. So we must understand. See, this table gives you the record of how many million tons of much more than what we require to have in 2021 by projection is available to you in many food grains, rice, wheat, then maize, now pulses also now. Only oil seeds is one in which we have not been able to meet our requirement. Although in rapeseed and mustard, we have been able to have record production, but we are not able to meet the required need. So that's one area where we have to continue to import. In all other things, there is no need to import any product that requires agricultural base. So that, other than oilseed, is the biggest advantage India has in converting our say agricultural resources into marketable produce. And therefore, self-sufficiency is not going to be a problem. Although there is one school of thought from economists who continue to say till 2023 or so, we will be able to meet. After that, we will not be able to meet because investment is not going to be there, etc., etc. They look at it that way, but they don't count the research development, which increases the potential. Okay, like irrigation. If irrigation is not there, rain-fed agriculture is going to be there. The varieties will be developed for rain-fed agriculture in order to increase the yield. So therefore, the demand can be met by converting the input rather than increasing the facility. But they look only at the increased facility is not there, so therefore that area will be low in production. That's not the case. That's the missing thing. So therefore, one school of thought believes it is not a threat. You only have to sustain, and it has got to be no complacency base, but active research base, R&D base investment. Then we will be able to meet the, because I think in agriculture and software and now say aeroscience or aeronautical sciences and even space sciences, India is matching globe this is a shoulder to shoulder. Now even vaccine, for example, we are able to match globally this one. So therefore, I don't believe that we will be running into a shortage after 2023, which is already there. So let us see how it works. But these are the scary points. But in my view, these are the points of opportunity for industry. When we say 37% of farm holds are having a land size less than 0.4 hectares, it is for industry to see how well they can organize these 100.4 hectare people together to make it 40 hectares and make an economically viable produce from there. It's an opportunity for them. Then when we say about 5.2% only own tractor and less than 40% used tractor, this data I have not added, which means 60% of farming requirement for tractor usage is not being met by available tractors. So is that not open scope for industry to understand what is the requirement, how best they can organize, maybe have custom say services, things like this supplied by having more than this 5.2%, add new tractors and service by custom usage, things like this. Then 1.8% only use power tiller. Then 1.6% of access to drip irrigation. So you see more than 99%, almost 98%, 98.4% have scope for drip irrigation. Which industry has to get a demand of this kind to invest on developing drip irrigation tools or drip irrigation products? So things like this, and sprinkler irrigation similarly, 99%. So these are the scope areas which are available for all of you to consider investing in. And already this is very clear that in 2010 itself, we went under the per capita available water resource to be water scarce country. 1800 cubic meters is the per capita average requirement. And we are already under that in 2010 at national level. In some areas we do have, some areas it is much, much less, but on average in the country, it is 1704 in 2010, which is less than the required 1800. So that is understood that we already have water scarcity. So do things which can minimize the use of water or maximum efficiency of water usage can be done so that most used water is converted into energy, converted into utility product. So that's where is the scope for industry. And climate change has further enhanced that happening. Now, as I explained to you, the plant breeding group, which is not industry based, but research based from agriculture, has been able to develop varieties of crop products, say species, which are able to increase their yield potential. That means per hectare, they can produce more. That has happened very significantly. And the research example is in wheat, where there was only 65% growth in 40 years. Yield was increased 65% from existing yield in 1910 in 1950 when we became independent, but 203% in the next 60 years, which is great. So that is how we are able to match with the requirement, which most economists don't consider as something in their equations, and therefore have little underestimated value to agricultural growth. And when they give a prediction, not otherwise, not on the ground status, but on the prediction, this is the major problem. They would still look at that 65% as the ground data or that data. And they will not look at the 200+% which we have now, and that can be maybe 300% with the new technologies today available to us. So that's an example. And one example which Krishi, this Pusa Krishi itself advanced by having private players produce the seed and reach maximum global variety at the maximum area any single variety has ever reached in any crop. That happens to be this variety which IARA developed, SD2967. That record stands even today. More than 10 billion continuously for 5 years. And there's not a single variety outside India in any crop species, including India for that matter, other than this variety, that has crossed 5.7 billion hectares any time in the year. And 5 times and 10 million hectares plus. Same thing happened in the case of rice. So these are two mega crops which occupy more than 75% of cultivation area in the crops. So that's an example that in each of these crop species and other crop species, plant breeding system is available in full proficiency to meet the requirement. Yet we have this huge deficit between Punjab and Madhya Pradesh in the potential of bringing inter-regional variation leveled or non-existent. Punjab has 4.7 tons per hectare of food grain in a year, whereas Madhya Pradesh has only 1.3 tons. So you have so much of scope. You can increase almost 4 times in Madhya Pradesh today, as on today, to make it come closer to Punjab. And you can imagine the quantity of food that increment will produce. While inputs are all going that way, but outputs are not matching. So that means the economics of production is not going to work so very much by increasing by 4 times. What will happen is the marketability and glut related economics has to be matched by processing and export. So once that is provided, this can also be increased. And there are many other things which are related in terms of these systems which I explained to you, the irrigation resources, the pesticide resources, and all those which are to be supported. Like you have to make the land productive by meeting the potential of the varieties requirement as an input. So much of water at that much of time, things like this has to be provided. So that's where industry has to make its inroads in creating those facilities, using the water resources available and accordingly making it available for the farm application. So that's the system which can be increased. Then the next strategy is nutrition security should be with higher income, higher nutrient, higher income. That does not happen as on today. If I increase my wheat variety with 15% protein from 12%, which is it has, I make it 15%. The potential is easily there. We can even reach up to 17%. But that 17% wheat will not attract more market value. So that has to be developed. So that is where, and the systems which use that increased protein has to be developed. That is where industry has to come up. As on today, the management related aspects of crop production will have to be contributing about 50%, and that is where is the missing link as on today. That is not even 22-23% as on today. So tremendous industry, and most of it is industry based, whether it is nutrient management, whether it is water requirement, that is fertilizer industry, or water industry, which is sprinklers or irrigation systems or the tube wells and pumps, etc. Then crop geometry, that means engineering requirements. Then the sowing and fertilizer applications, which are again mechanisms available for applying it in time before it is too late. Then managing the weeds, again, things like this. Chemicals or equipment which can do the job. Many such things are all based on non-biological input so much, whereas non-biological and processing based inputs that has to be done by non-agriculture, non-farm level inputs. They have to be outside the farm sector, but used on the farm. This point has to be well understood and taken as scope. Then the water use efficiency, nutrient use efficiency. This has to be done through equipment and infrastructure only. And that is where the tremendous scope is. Like when you apply 1 kg of nitrogen, only 30 to 40% of it is used by the plant, rest is lost. How best to say use the spraying system or spreading system or incorporation system that makes most of it being used by the plant. So that is where the industry has to come up. So it requires highly technically qualified industry system that has to come up with quality controls so that it is done on a scientific basis. It is not done on say some kind of say as is how is adoption of Jugaad. It is not possible through Jugaad system. It has to be done through scientifically assessed, analyzed, specific area based, specific soil system based, specific crop system based applicability, which has to go as a packet or a package when the farmer takes up a particular crop. A whole package has to be accompanying it with the industry supporting that to be part of the seed system as a system. Not only seed, these many things along with the applicators. If this happens through insurance systems or those systems or banking systems which enable the farmer to buy, also include this as conditions. If you do this, I will give you advance. Things like this. I don't know. These are all some wild thinking, but I believe that's the way to go about. In developed countries and in countries like China, where the government controls every decision to be made by a user as something that is imposed on them, imposed on the user, things like this can happen. But not in a democratic country where everybody has freedom to do anything. Things like this can be organized in a way other than the need is understood by the user. So that means there is social information system development to make farmer understand what is the best system for him and how he can achieve it and what are the options available to him and where he can get it done. Even the development of these tools, which is also industry based. So there are many such things which are open. Just to show you, if one is using flood irrigation system, which is the normal irrigation system, versus the drip irrigation system, so much of water is getting saved. It is not just saving of water. That much of water is now being made available for other things to happen. So that's a big contribution to the nation and big use of available water. And this is all of it. From second row onwards, it's all industry support. The furrow system can happen only when you have the tractor with the field equipment, which can facilitate furrow development. Otherwise, it won't. Because the furrow development is not just making holes, making lanes. It has to be leveled once. So leveler has to be there. So things like this, only then the flow will happen in the furrow. Otherwise, it won't. So things like this are all industry-based support, and that has to happen by understanding what is the requirement in which cropping system. And you see, this gives you, as is always, current status of potential that is actually there in each of these systems for the industry to invest. UP is a big eye-opener. It has potential for 2,207,000 hectares for converting into drip irrigation, and almost 4 times that in sprinkler system. And what is available is less than 0.5% in drip irrigation system and 0.12% sprinkler system. Neither sprinklers are available, nor is the system for drip available, even though the state is giving so much subsidy. There is no distribution system. Crop-specific orientation to arrange the drip system in the field, even if there is some supplier, but he does not have the technical back support system to use it in brinjal field or use it in maize field or use it in the sorghum field. He doesn't have. So it is of no use. That's the limiting system. So you have to say have technical expertise with the industry product to finally market it according to the need of the farmer. So these are the open areas for industry to support. There is a revealing change happening with the say enhancement of income, with more and more the third column sales in the triennium 2006, that is 2004 to 2006, you saw 25% of nutritional security coming from fruits, which is a great revealing point. That means that much of more processing or saving or conserving fruits has been happening. But loss reduction is not sufficient. Just 25% is 95% is still highly sensitive, vulnerable to losses. So that's where it happens. But friends, now you see, this is a recent development in the solar cell voltaic power, that is solar energy related panels development, where silicon cells used to be used earlier. Now this material called perovskite has come with this very low cost and has more than doubled the efficiency of converting solar energy and in very micro fields. So these are the things which are extremely important for us to understand how best we can use it and save the farm produce within the field, giving say temperatures which will enhance the apple and tomatoes not to rot. Farmers are throwing tomatoes because they cannot harvest it, nor they can keep it. Whereas now, if you have the facilities like this, using solar energy, there's hardly any need. No governments have to develop a scheme for free electricity. Then there will be no electricity produced to meet that free electricity if you open it out just like that. Whereas solar energy with these new panel systems can enable that. So these are the things where you have to develop. There's not a single industry in India which is manufacturing any of this, either this cold storage system using solar energy, nor the solar panels which can be used for those. So these are the areas open for you to invest in. And of course, the custom hiring centers. If you're enterprising, you can, just like film distribution, you can have the farm equipment distribution systems. And that's going to be really going to be sold as hotcakes. And that too, if you have well-managed equipment with you, well-maintained equipment with you, there'll be most loved equipment any farmer would seek. So you will not go out of business. And that's where you have to consider investing in. Then public-private partnership. As I said, in the storage, that is where as of today, we have only 60 million tons capacity, of which 20 million tons is covered by railways with their Container Corporation of India. So only 40 million tons are under private partnership. Okay, that is something where you have tremendous scope. 40 millions is, you know what is the annual processing product which India has is about 600 plus 640 million tons available for processing of fruits, vegetables, and cereal crops and other food crops, which need storage conditions of temperature control or moisture control, things like this. So these had to be done by private industry only. It is not possible with Food Corporation of India or some certain systems like this, which has to meet the basic requirement of distributing the daily requirement of rationing of products. So therefore, you cannot expect them to have these R&D or public-private partnership for market-related requirement. Okay, so you have to do it. That's another big scope. The irrigation, mechanization, seed production, processing, all of this. Like the wheat, say, export today, which we have, is based on the fantastic products like we had with our variety HD2967. India was never expected to ever export wheat. From 2015, we have been exporting wheat, and this year we have almost come equal to rice, basmati rice. More than 25,000 crores is now exported wheat in India. So these are the things which are very, very important for us to understand. And the non-farm enterprises which are available in plenty in the country are those which can be converted into the skill development areas for application in agriculture. These are the ones. And IP protection is something that is part of it, both for the variety or non-variety, and that has to be enhanced in agriculture. That has more than say 90% scope, because only 10% is converted into IP at the moment in any of these products, both as variety or non-variety based innovations. That's where there is tremendous scope for you to invent something and get it protected and accordingly marketed, and then use all the new schemes available for startup or MSME incubation schemes, and many new schemes the government is willing to give in order to reach global markets. And that is where you have to use this system, such as in which you are now undergoing, to get an exposure as much as possible in IRA, example institution, and then see where you can put your money and where you can use your intellect in association with the technical intellect of the institution. And the private partnership is well acclaimed now as the basis for India to scale up its technologies, and there should be no limits, as Ashok Gulati, a famous economist from India, has clearly indicated. And he has said that the sector invested enough with indigenous to sustain. The answer is 90% of food crop R&D is public sector, which means hardly any private industry has indigenized or invested enough in any of these sectors. So the private sector deals only with estimated 24 to 28% agriculture as of today, and that's where is the scope. That means there is still open scope for more than 70% for each of you to consider how best you can make the 139 million hectares available to you in the country to be used for effective economics while improving agricultural produce simultaneously. And this is how it is. I think I've already run out of my time, so I will quickly go through this part of stating that the agriculture sector as an industry is not very far behind in terms of its value in the share stocks. These are 5 example stocks I'm showing today to you, which have very good price, just like the Ambanis or the other big industry houses shares are. So it is no less. Okay, so you must understand. And for example, Bayer Crop Science has a value of 5,600 shares, rupees per share, which is not very small. And then PI Industries, one chemical industry, 3,500. So it is not less. So the market is open, business is open, and you have to consider that with no rocket science support system, because it is not rocket science, you can always use the bullock cart pace and make best use of the bullock cart in order to see that the entire area is, say, serviced, and no farmer is left uncovered, and meet his requirement, and in return make money when you cover him. So that's the objective we should look at, and that's how it should go. So I would like to thank the Krishi Pusa for introducing this as a basic topic for this new workshop. And I believe I have served some purpose in explaining to you the enormous scope that agriculture has, and an unending investment that has a scope. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
All right. So I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude, sir, for your enlightening session during our cohort launch. Your presentation on the landscape of Indian agriculture was not only informative, but also, I would say, deeply moving, because the way you started paying the tribute to Dr. Swaminathan, a true pioneer in the field of Indian agriculture. And moreover, sir, your eloquent reminder that the path to the increased agriculture production lies in the fact that we need a balance of 50-50, like 50% crop improvement and also 50% crop management. And so your emphasis on the importance of production technology and how startups in the industry, the people who are connected to us today, it can contribute to the advancing production technology in the sector. So it was really truly enlightening, sir. And also for the fact that how sustainable intensification that you mentioned through these startups, which are working in various agriculture and allied sectors, So it's a vision that resonates deeply with our cohort, sir, and also we are aiming to make it. We want to create an impact in this sector for the whole startup ecosystem as well. And with mentors like you around, it'll be. I think it'll be easily achieved as well. And I also want to express our deep appreciation and thanks. Gratitude to the whole ICR IRI system that they have provided us this beautiful platform as Pusa Krishi to engage with visionaries like yourself, sir, and for your continuous support in their endeavors. And last but not the least, sir, like you said, the significance of these PPPs, the public-private partnership, in various facets, like processing, seed production. I think you also mentioned irrigation, mechanization. So yes, it was really eye-opening for all the participants. And so this has been a really valuable to us, sir, and we are eager to learn from you in the future as well. And also would like to thank our CEO, Dr. Akriti, and also the whole team of our Pusa Krishi. Because of all our coordinated efforts, the events and the cohort like this we have been doing and will be doing in the future as well. So, sir, thank you for your time and the inspiration.
Manisha, if any question from the startup, so sir,
Sure, sir,
they.
we'll take that as well. And lastly, I would like to thank the startups who are the part of Pusa Krishi now. So welcome all to the family. You are now a part of the Pusa Krishi family. And yes, the house is open for questions, if any.
Hello.
Yeah,
please
Dr.
go.
Ashim, please go ahead.
Hi. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. I'm
afternoon.
Ashim from Navarati Innovation Private Limited. Right. Sir, actually, my question is related to rice farming, paddy cultivation. So kind of, sir, for last 2 years, we are doing research how we can save water, because in rice farming, it is the most water consumption.
Yeah.
So, right. So I think we are almost ready with the sensor also. But my question to sir is different. So we found there are some issues to implement the sensors for rice farming. For example, alternate wet and drying technique. So my question to you, sir, what are the difficulties you think that we are not trying to use AWD technique in rice? It will save huge amount of water that we found in last 2 years of our research. Thank you, sir.
It is not that alternate wetting and drying process is not being followed in the country. One reason is that it is rain-fed crop. Okay, it is in the rain season crop. Okay, it's not rain-fed, rain season crop. That makes it different to a little difficult to have a standardized technology that it is wet for these many days and left dry for these many days. So that is interfered by rains that happen. And two, even in irrigated systems today, it is being followed to a large extent even in Punjab. Okay, it is taking time because of the planting system is not is flood-based nursery system, not direct sowing. If the direct sowing happens, then wet and dry can follow much easily. That's one of the limiting factors because of the say nursery requirement to be maintained in water system, and the tillering has to happen in planted say paddy field, which cannot be dried at that moment till it is tillered. So that makes the difference. Okay, so you should introduce your sensors by earmarking the areas which are under direct rice sowing systems. Then you can see.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
That's a generally followed technique of wet and dry system. Welcome.
Any other questions from the participants? So they are asking for the presentation. Yes, okay.
Yeah, if not, if someone is asking, I have one small question, maybe if there is no question.
Please.
Sir, one more thing actually, because sir, our company, we are kind of into small and marginal scale farmers. So we are working for that to improve livelihood of them. So my question, sir, is actually another problem we found that to introduce technology, sir, it is very difficult to give a system to small farmers also because it is not financially viable, right? So we felt that, sir, maybe that community farming is kind of will be very helpful because then sir, because our one system can work for say 10
Yeah.
acres, but
Yeah.
now farmer has half acre, so it's a waste.
Yes.
Right. So
Sure.
I don't know how to solve that problem. So that is, I think, will be very viable then for government also. They can give one system for say 10 farmers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I have a suggestion to you. See, there are agencies such as Coromandel Industries or Tata Railways who have their establishments to aggregate farmers, okay, for technologies. You can interact with them and connect for this technology. This is not a technology which they have. Their technologies are generally chemical based to organize in a sector of 40 to 50 hectares in one pocket, okay, aggregated farming held by many small farmers. So it is in those focus areas you can think of introducing by interacting with them, picking up 2-3 such locations so that it will become a demonstration, that will become an example, and that successful, once you succeed, nothing stops you, isn't it? So you now you have these ready-made agencies. You can contact Tata Railway and also Coromandel as 2 examples I know of. Okay, who have this already existing aggregated group of many thousands of farmers. So you see which crop system and which area is most feasible for you to get your sensors say incorporated in the small farmers, marginal farmers group only with these people. That will work. Then you have several 10-hectare duplicates, 10-acre duplicates there.
Right, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
I have one question.
Yes, Utsav, please.
So,
Bataiye.
so very insightful presentation, sir. And I am Utsav Mishra from Climate Agro Analytics. So we are basically this climate risk on the agriculture, then how during the crop planning and then planting to harvesting phase, how this weather forecast can be helpful. So my question is, what is the standing of Indian agriculture in the climate risk projection? And the other question is, like you told about the time of sowing. So as we all know that it is a very critical. So how critical role seeing the current climate time of sowing is important. So these things.
Yeah, see, the risk factor in Indian climate say risk assessment or risk related management part is concerned is the input provision. See, what is on the real factor for you to understand is even if technical input advice clearly says, example, rice in this area cannot be planted, nursery cannot be planted beyond this time. Okay, you recommend it, but the availability of the variety, seed in time, the fertilizer like say DAP or urea, etc., available in time, then the termite related pesticide available in time, for that to be practiced is a problem. The ground problem is this.
So it's not about advisory only.
No, it is not advisory.
Yeah.
It is this. It is this as a major problem because there is no organized system which distributes this.
So what do you think,
See,
sir?
Panwala, see, just me continue. It's a fact. Every Panwala in the Rajasthan state, in the rural, is a seed seller.
Yes.
If it rains. If it doesn't rain, he has no understanding of the seed. And it will be hundreds of varieties. Even farmer is confused which is the one to be used. He doesn't even know. He is a pan seller only. He does not know what is what. This is how it is. So this has to be controlled. Otherwise, risk will remain risk.
Yes.
It is even more risky to use a long duration crop in time than using a correct duration crop little later than time of sowing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for us.
Welcome.
Any further questions?
I have a question.
Abhinav, Bataiye.
Sir, it was a very insightful session and thanks a lot for having us here. My name is Abhinav. I'm from Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh. And my startup is Javikalp. So we are trying to do something in Javik, that is organic. and Kalp as in one day of Brahmaji is known as Kalp. So, sir, my question is that we are trying to focus on organic farming. We are trying to create an AI-based learning platform. We are trying to create an e-commerce platform, all integrated for them. So even our Indian government, they are trying to train farmers for natural farming. They are trying to train around 1 crore farmers this year in the budget. So, sir, I wanted to ask, should we focus more on organic farming or should we focus more on natural farming? Because the only difference that I see is the certification. But how would you recommend us to go forward about it?
From a technical angle, from an angle of scientific purview, I would say neither is something that has to be given as the basis for agriculture. Okay. Neither natural farming can be sustained. Natural farming has no existence. Okay. It is only a fashion word which has gone beyond understanding to become popular because of developed countries which have this fad, and organic also the same way. Okay. But organic on market base, there's nothing like natural farming that is different from what was happening in India prior to 1950s.
True.
Okay. That was natural farming only. All right. So converting the current agriculture into natural farming on the basis that you don't have to feed fertilizers, you don't have to things of this kind is what Sri Lanka faced.
Right, sir.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm not dissuading you, but you have to do it on export orientation, organic farming, and integrated farming is the better option. See, I tell you, my friend, you may not be a microbiologist. Are you a microbiologist?
No, sir. I'm an engineer.
Engineer. The hardest fact in organic farming is no two vials of the same composition as claimed by the label are correctly so. And no two shells have the same survival potential of the product on the shelf. There is absolutely no quality regulation possible, no quality control possible. Therefore, the response also will be accordingly variable. And whether you apply in organic means or inorganic means, the plant takes it only inorganic. It has to convert it into inorganic mean and take it. Okay. So therefore, it is not an alternative. It is a market demand based agriculture, market demand driven system. It is not an option for better agriculture, better productive agriculture. No, it is not. So you make a choice. You make a choice yourself. But quality is a question which can never be answered with the existing tools and technologies and the input microbes. No way.
Got it.
No farmer will be guaranteed that he invests this much money on this particular vial this year in this particular plot, same product in the next plot, planted 2 days next, will have the same result. No.
True, sir. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Abhinav. If there is any other question from the participant.
Yes.
Am I audible?
I have a question.
Yeah, Nishant.
Yeah.
Please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hello. No, I'm not.
Nishant, if you can type it, I think you have some network issues.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Sir,
Divyansh,
my name is Nishan. I am a co-founder of. No, I'm not. Am I audible?
Nishant, you have some.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Now audible. Yes.
Now it's fine. Yeah.
Go
It's
ahead.
fine. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sir, my name is Nishant. I am co-founder of Smartive Krishi Khata. Beside that, I'm a scientist at virology also. Sir, my question is regarding the cultivation of black paddy, black rice. Sir, it is possible to cultivate black rice in the same way of that the regular paddy.
Yeah.
First one.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yeah, it is.
And will it be feasible for farmers to cultivate black paddy instead of regular paddy?
Yes, it is. 5 minutes, it is possible to cultivate black paddy the same way as the normal brown paddy is. And absolutely no crisis for any farmer to produce it, but market it is very tough. Okay, if you produce more, there is no market and the value will be crashing.
So can you please suggest some plausible market windows for black paddy? Because here in Chhattisgarh, we are currently cultivating black paddy instead.
See, black paddy as in today is a GI from Northeast. Okay, and aromatic black paddy is from the Gorakhpur, Devariya area, Uttar Pradesh, GI. So this you must first see whether you are violating a Chhattisgarh GI or not. Then only you can think of, and then have it on an export market base, not otherwise.
Okay, sir. Yeah, we purchase seed from Odisha, sir.
Okay. Okay, that is Kala Namak. Kala Jeera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the Kala Jeera, it's a good aromatic rice, but it is equivalent to the Kala Namak coming from Gorakhpur area. So it will be tough to market it in competition with them from Chhattisgarh. So that is a market game only. I can't help it. But you must be aware of the GI, Eurovic indication, which they already have.
Thank you for the information. I will look into it now.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, Divyanshu.
Sir, I have a doubt. Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Divyanshu, please.
Hi. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, Divyanshu this side from Jharkhand, and we are working on a biomass supply chain. As we can see that biomass demands are increasing, but we can see that in Jharkhand there is no crop which is grown in abundant, no single crop. There are multiple crops, and for the biomass sector which we have studied, single crop is preferred. We are working on how we can promote the crops which are more used on the biofuel sector in this region. Is that a right strategy, or we should move on another strategy? Or
so it is the right strategy in terms of looking at the feasibility for the area to grow that biomass feasible crop. You have to first see the agronomy part of it, feasibility. Then you can target on a some kind of license arrangement with the farmers on a buyback license, something, and then the industry can be established.
Yeah, because currently in Jharkhand there is no such crop which is grown in abundant other than paddy and
yeah, right. Even maize is there in good remote now, no?
Yeah, maize.
Rabi maize is coming.
Yeah, but right now we are studying about the biomass briquettes. So the ideal.
Briquettes. You are looking at briquettes. Okay.
No, one part was briquettes. So because a lot of thermal power plants are in this area, so we are looking at the briquettes.
Okay.
So what we were looking, mustard and groundnut is the primary raw residue for the producing that, and for the biofuel it's another. That corn cob is more popular.
Yeah, then both crops are feasible. Groundnut has a problem, but mustard is feasible in Jharkhand. There are varieties which are supporting. So you only have to look at the water levels. If it is too much of water, low-lying area, then it will not be possible. If it is less water area, perfectly okay for mustard, at least in the Rabi season. No problem.
Mustard on the Rabi season. Yeah. So we can
you can see. You can concentrate on the spring groundnut there. You can try spring groundnut there.
That so we January, have to develop a culture of cropping culture, new cropping culture there.
Yes.
In addition to that, we should also go for agroforestry system there.
Oh yes, that is the naturally existing system there, no?
Yeah, so we should also promote agroforestry system
to
get more fuel for that. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank
welcome,
you.
Welcome.
Chandrasekhar was also asking. Yeah, Chandrasekhar.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
First of all, thank you for the nice presentation and lecture. So I have a doubt, sir, about is there is any possible development that has been made in managing the crop residue? Because since farmers burn their crop residue and this causes so much of pollutions, and since Puja had developed on Puja decomposer product, it's a very nice product. But is there is any other development that has been made in order to eradicate this? I want to know your.
No, it is not that there are no other products, but as efficient to catch between the season time available. That's the difficulty. If it is free season, there is no problem. The problem is between the harvesting time and the next sowing time. That range is the time when the processing has to happen. For that, you don't have too many new options available. Yeah. I mean, the 4 weeks to 6 weeks are minimum requirement. Rest 20 days, 21 days, 25 days, they are all highly limited to a particular material. It cannot be okay for all.
Since Puja decomposer 2 takes almost, it takes around 20 days.
Yeah. It takes about 4 weeks. 4 weeks it takes, yeah.
So there is no other development right now?
No.
Okay. Due to lack of time or any other things?
No, not lack of time. Lack of time for processing. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any other reason that you think that it can be made?
I think the best thing is to get it collected and take it out, process outside the field. That's the best.
But it contains more of silica. Can it be used for feedstock?
No, that's only in the case of rice. Silica part is only in the case of rice, not in other crop residues. And you can make use of silica if you process it outside. You can convert it to glass industry.
Also, ethanol can be used that or not? So.
No, not for ethanol production. Not for ethanol production. Rice straw cannot be used for ethanol production economically.
Can I know what you said about economically? Why?
The quantity required for processing to take out turnout.
Okay.
You cannot sell.
It's not an economically viable.
The amount of alcohol you can produce by decomposing the residue of rice is not sufficient enough to market it at say competitive price of ethanol. You cannot make it 1,000 rupees liter, no?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
But that can be made.
That can be made. Of course, not all varieties. Aromatic varieties can easily be made. Non-aromatic, it will be less alcohol, still less alcohol. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Welcome.
Yeah, Devtanu or Saloni, any one of you want to ask?
Yes, I'm here. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. So I am Saloni and I'm the co-founder of Okami Bioscience. I'm a microbiologist turned entrepreneur, and we are precisely into animal nutrition. So my question to you would be, sir, since agriculture and allied go hand in hand, and agri becomes our raw material input, I would like to know your insights into the impact in the coming years that you foresee, the sort of crop changes, climate changes, and effect. What do you foresee? What would be the livestock nutrition trends, and how can we suggest and help the farmers with choosing wisely?
Honestly speaking, I cannot give you a very positive outlook till we sort out the male versus female calf related control activity. Okay,
Right.
the semen selection tool, etc. If till those things come into existence, there is no way you can manage nutrition by disregarding one sex, and it is not possible. Things don't work. So I think there's a lot of policy related say economics related societal requirement, understanding requirement here. We should not be religion or anything based. So
Right,
that
right.
is not, that is the limiting factor, but that's in the cattle side. But in the
Hmm.
buffalo and other side, of course, there's tremendous scope.
Okay.
Okay, I believe since you are a biologist, and
Yes.
you must publicize by
Hmm.
whichever means, whichever
Okay.
sarkari mean or whatever,
Hmm.
that the myth of the antibody or nutritional related A type and A1 and
Right,
A2 or
right, right.
whatever,
Yes,
that
yes.
has to be very clearly made understood by
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
Okay,
True, true, sir. True.
unnecessarily buffalo milk is getting devalued because of this. Indian
Yes.
half bred is getting devalued because of that. That should not be. So
Yes,
once
yes.
that is brought in, you take it
Mhm.
together, then of course there is tremendous scope for nutrition.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, any more questions? Okay, I think, sir, we are done with the questions now.
Yeah, good. It was good interaction.
Yes,
In
sir.
fact, so far this has been the best interaction.
Okay, sir. Thank you
Among
so much,
all
sir.
my lectures so
Okay,
far,
sir.
this has been the one which has very focused interaction. Very nice. Yeah, I'm also happy with it. Yeah,
Yes, that means this cohort is going to be a really
yeah,
good
yeah.
one.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. Very matured it was. Yeah,
Right, sir.
yeah.
So,
Hi, yeah, Christina.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask one thing, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, sir. So I wanted to ask you one thing, sir. Like, I have been into developing the, products from the essential oils. I mean, we directly procure the herbs from the farms, and we are supporting the, small organic growers. We are developing the capacity also. We are training them, and as well as we are, buying back the herbs and doing the further processing of those herbs and making the product. So where do you see the overall scope, and are there any government schemes to, support this kind of project?
Oh yes, MSME is
Ultimately,
open.
like
Yeah.
from the rather than grains and the other things, I mean, growing the
Yeah,
herbs and the other
yes,
things
yes,
gives them
yeah,
a better,
yeah.
Revenue.
Yes, yes. MSME has several schemes available for every single part which you mentioned, making it say organic collection of particular herb, or say marketing of the herb as such, control of the market of the herb, and the processed product and the byproducts and those kinds of things with chemical industries. So you have tremendous schemes available in MSME for startups as well as this one. So you must
Because
of course
I had been trying to, get certain kind of fundings through SISF and all, but they clearly told me that there is no technology intervention, and I really didn't understand
you must go to
what did
MSME.
they, what did not they find in it?
Yeah. No, you since you have already I see earmarked farmers, you have to go with their identities
Yeah.
and with their inputs as your partners, and
Yes.
MSME will come by.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. I think Manisha, I have to
Yes, you have
leave
to.
now.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what we will do is, sir, if they have any more questions, we'll we'll
just
send them to
email
you.
to me. Yeah, email them to
email
me. I
kar
will
dena.
answer.
Right.
Okay.
ठीक है.
Thank you. I'm really sorry because
So
my
we
wife.
do understand you. I mean, you took you gave us like really a long time as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
All right.
My wife is not well and
Thank
she's
you,
been
sir.
calling me. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, we do understand. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, to the participants, well, I would like to thanks again. Thank to you that you've been a part of this. Okay, so now I would also like to understand from you, all of you, that who and all is interested in the physical incubation space at the incubator, because we have received emails from a few of you, so we can proceed with that as well. So I would like to tell you, like, the ones who are interested in that, either the office space or the lab, you have to revert to the email, or maybe you have already the email ID with you, the communication Pusa Krishi one. So write to us in case if you need the office space. And again, a few of you have done the payments, and a few They have promised us that they will do it by the end of the, today itself. So make sure you do that as well, right? And tomorrow we'll meet again and we will share the details in the WhatsApp group as well. So those who have not joined the WhatsApp group, please go through your email again, and there we have already sent the link for the WhatsApp group, right? So it was really nice being with you today, and then we will see you tomorrow. All right. In case of any query or anything, you can always reach out to us. You have the email ID, you have the phone numbers with you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Tomorrow, what time?
Same time, 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks to you all. Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.